Now, I know this may sound crazy, this title may be crazy, and very well after the game, you might be watching this video thinking how stupid I am to be thinking this. And right now, before even going into the game, a lot of Arsenal fans are even thinking that what I'm saying in this title is very, very stupid. How do I think Arsenal actually beat Liverpool? A Liverpool team that's been on fire under Arne Slot have only conceded 1 goal in their last 4 games. How do I think this injury-riddled Arsenal team that are clearly out of form with no William Saliba, so many injuries to deal with, how do I think they could possibly beat Liverpool? Well, admittedly, before going into this game, I am looking at this game more so with hope than anything. And you know what might happen is that if Arsenal win the game, this might age very well, and if Arsenal lose or draw, well, not so much. But with the hope in me, the positive Arsenal fan in me, I'm seeing a way I think Arsenal could actually win the game. But why do I think this, and how do I think this? Well, that's what we're talking about today. So what's going on, everyone? You are listening to Gunner Central here. I hope you're all doing well. Please be sure to like the video, subscribe if you guys haven't already, and let's get into it. Now, before I even cover what Arsenal are up against, let's just assess the team we'll be playing in Liverpool. Liverpool, I mean, to say that they're on fire this season would be an absolute understatement. They've won every single game this season, bar one when they lost 1-0 at home against Nottingham Forest, a game where Liverpool were just not good enough. But under Arne Slot, they've done so well. I mean, they've won every game you could possibly ask from them. They've been really good in the Champions League, and like I said, they've conceded just 1 goal in their last 4 games. Now, everyone that doesn't really think Liverpool is all of that, well, they say, well, if you look at who Liverpool actually had to play, none of them are really tough challenges, if we're being completely honest. Outside of Chelsea, their biggest test throughout the whole season was likely Milan, but to the contrary, I think Liverpool have been spectacular, and they've beaten teams that could very well be slippery slopes. You look at Arsenal on the other hand, and in our last 5 games, yes, we've won 4 of them, but we also had that disgusting 2-0 loss to Bournemouth, a game that still irks me so badly. The way we played, the way that we brought out tactically just wasn't good, and you think to yourself, on paper, there is no way that I could possibly sit here and in my right mind think Arsenal can win. But like I said, I don't know what exactly will happen. Frankly, no one knows until after the game. But the positive Arsenal fan in me sees a way that Arsenal could potentially beat Liverpool. Arsenal, first of all, have won our last 2 Premier League home games against them, and obviously this time we will be at home as well. And although Liverpool are absolutely flying and Arsenal aren't really flying, even though we won 4 of our last 5 games, if you watched Arsenal, you would just know something isn't right. Something isn't clicking. We're definitely missing that Odegaard spark. Obviously, with no Bukayo Saka, we've struggled very much, and now with no William Saliba, our defense might be very leaky. Also, we don't know if Yuri and Timber will be back. There are so many things that we just don't know heading into this game. But let me tell you why I think there are some positives around Arsenal. Well, I think first of all, obviously with no William Saliba, there is a spot in our back line, and hopefully if Timber can come back, as well as Ben White, as well as Calafiori, if they can all come back, I think we can kind of fill that Saliba role at least somewhat, whether that be because Ben White will play the Saliba role and then have Timber and Calafiori as your fullbacks, or whatever it is. They could be either way. I mean, all of them could play centre back. I think defensively we should be able to be fine. Now in the midfield, I think Partey starts with Declan Rice, and in the cam position, if Odegaard isn't ready, which likely is the case, well then you'd expect Leandro Trossard to play at the 10. Now, I made it very clear in the Shakhtar game that Trossard was not good enough against Shakhtar. But if you look at Trossard this season, outside of the Bournemouth game and outside of the Shakhtar game, I thought Trossard has been pretty good. And there was a time, even in international break, where all of us Arsenal fans were saying, we're not really missing Martin Odegaard. I was one of them, because Trossard was just doing so well. So I think if Trossard can come into the cam position, we should be fine. And if Bukayo Saka, this is the big one, if Bukayo Saka can be fit and healthy for the game against Liverpool, I'm pretty convinced we should be at least competitive in the game. I think no Bukayo Saka, regardless of who's fit and who's playing, I think we will struggle badly. I think Bukayo Saka is that important to helping us play out from the press, keeping the defense on their heels. I think Bukayo Saka is that crucial, that important for us, that if Bukayo Saka is playing, our team is going to look a lot more fluid and a lot better than we have in the past 2 games. Obviously, I think Havertz is going to play up top, and I think left wing would most likely be Gabriel Martinelli. But like I said, the thing is, yes, we're struggling for balance, because you even look at the games when everyone was fit for the most part. We just scraped past Southampton, we just scraped past Leicester. So you're saying, how are we going to beat a high-flying Liverpool? Well, Arteta said coming into this game that we will be flying, and you better hope so. But because it is a home game, a crucial game game, we just have to perform. There's no other way about it. I know Liverpool's a really good team, but we just have to perform. I know we have injuries. I know there's no William Saliba. I know all of that, but there's no other way about it. We have to perform, and we have to try and get these 3 points, especially after that 2-0 loss to Bournemouth. I also hope that we do not play that midfield that we saw against Bournemouth, that Mikael Merino, Declan Rice, Thomas Partey midfield. It's a strong-ish midfield, but there's absolutely no creativity in it, and they kind of actually cancel each other out defensively somehow. It just isn't a good enough midfield. That midfield should not be starting against Liverpool. Even if Odegaard isn't ready, Trossard should play in the 10. I don't care. But yeah, like I said, I acknowledge that this video could age very poorly, and I'm willing for those consequences. But the positive Arsenal fan in me can't help but think that Arsenal will step up our game. Finally, we will play well. Bukayo Saka will be back. Timber will be back, and we will make sure that we get our 3 points. I really hope that's the case, because I would love to be sitting here saying I told you so. But if it isn't the case, well then I guess that's just what it is.